So first of all, I want to thank the department for being here. Congratulations on your new position. Really awkward timing, right? This new invasive species is very concerning for the community. So my community includes the San Joaquin Delta, and it's been ground zero for the golden mussel invasion and infestation. And so we're seeing the impacts very firsthand. The Delta is a critical lifeline, not only for boating and ports and recreation, but also for agriculture, providing nearly $30 million, or 30 million residents, I should say, and more than 6 million acres of farmland with water. And so it's definitely under threat, as you've already talked about. And so you've all seen, I thank you very much. I agree with you. Picture is worth 1,000 words. For those of you who have not seen, there was a packet that was sent. This is, what golden mussels look like. And it's definitely not, it's nothing exciting about this when it takes over. And so we know that this is we know that right now is a spawning season. So we're really concerned that we need to act right now with the golden mussels. And the fact that the dollars that have been allocated thus far are not getting to people on the ground is very concerning. I just want to be clear that like $20 million is barely a scratch in the surface to what is necessary. It's barely a starting point, and it's very insufficient to meet the scale of the challenge, especially knowing that this thing is very resilient in comparison to other things. And so, without sustained investment in eradicating the golden mussels, California families bear the costs through higher water rates. Just want to share another thing. This is an intake pipe valve. This is infestation because it gets inside and it completely takes over. And so I know you all are very aware of this situation happening, but we are really, really needing to stave off a crisis. And so I'm really concerned. The urgency cannot be overstated when it comes to this. And so as I'm listening to what your request is, I know you have a hard job. I know you have the quagga mussels and the zebra mussels, but I really would love to know more details about all of these positions, because what we don't want is, we know everyone that has runs a department. We've run departments. We love budgets. We love more staffing. But how does this actually help the people on the ground? I just heard you say that there's no grants. Well, the people that are in these different water departments, these managers, need funding to deal with the invasive species that they've never dealt with before. They need decontamination immediately. So to have all of the funding go to a department to do research which is necessary, at the same time, we also need to do the work to start, eliminating and decontaminating. And so I want to make sure that we stand up funding that will empower the people on the ground to start, scaling, pushing back on these golden mussels. So no funding and no grants to the folks on the ground is very concerning. Not having details on like how a marketing specialist is going to help, an analyst is going to help. I really am concerned that there are really a list of positions, but not enough detail into how these positions are so much different than quagga and zebra mussel. I can understand if you said, hey, we want to add a couple of positions. And then speaking with water managers, they're not excited about canine dogs. They don't feel like the dogs do the same type of work that the humans are able to do. I'm sure we all have different opinions, right? But I'm just sharing what I've learned from folks in the community that are very concerned. Chair, you asked about what China's doing. I can tell you that they spend $4 billion annually on operations and maintenance to mitigate the cost, and that's happening throughout the different areas. And so I just don't want to, send funding to a department, which I respect, and we can't do this without you. And I know that we can't do it without you, but we have to consider the people on the ground. If you speak to the Metropolitan Water District in Southern California, they're estimating that it's going to cost $100 million up front just for treatment facilities and chemical costs. Additionally, they're estimating 15 to 20 million per year ongoing operations. They're also a department, so I get it, right? But we do need to figure out how we can do the research, but not just spend all the money on, I heard research, that's very big. I heard education is very big. But while we're researching and educating, the golden mussels are spawning and growing. And so we have to figure out, how do we prioritize containment? How do we prioritize decontamination? And so those are kind of the things that I want to talk about.